simple. As I have already told you, you go to this nine dots, and then from here you can pick up your app. Otherwise, as usual, you go and type Google Classroom in your Google search. Simply click on that. So if you're already have signed into your Gmail account, it will directly take you to this. So here you see there are a lot of classes that I am actually engaged in, both as a student as well as a faculty. Of course, most of them as faculty, except this, which is my daughter's classroom, where the school has added me also as one of the learners. So this appears here, as well as my daughter has a different email ID. There also she will be enrolled in that particular class. Fine. So otherwise, these are all classes where I teach. Now, how to create a class? That is the first step. Go to this plus sign, and here you have two options: join the class or create the class. You create the class. So it is usual conditions apply. Now give this class a name. So I give it OTT FDP, right? So these things you can fill if you wish, otherwise you can leave them, and then create. Once your classroom is created, then you can actually add people to join the classroom. Yeah, so this is the classroom that is created by name OTT FDP. So how do the first step after you have created the classroom is that you invite the students to join, or you can set up your classroom little bit. After that also you can invite your students to join, doesn't matter. But because we are actually doing it simultaneously, first I'll start with what to call the inviting students to join this class. So here, if you see, this is a class code. So if you just click on this, it will appear like this. Now what you can do, there are two ways of making students to join the class. One way is that you share this code with them, maybe through Gmail or maybe through WhatsApp or whatever means. So what they have to do is they will go to their Google Classroom, like here. Let us say once you get into the landing page of the Google Classroom, so they go to this.
Sir, what we have to type in place of room?
Pardon?
What we have to type in place of room?
Room not required. That is, if you have a physical classroom where it's just an information, just leave those menial details. That room is just maybe a physical place where these classes will be held when they are held physically. That's what I think is that. That's not important. Okay. So once you have the code with you, what you can do, you can ask people to get into their Google Classroom page and ask them to press this plus sign, then ask them to join the class. And once they want to, they press join the class, it will ask them for the code. So here they have to give the code so that these people will join that class as students. This is one way you can make students join the class. So what is the way? You after you created the class, copy this code, copy, and then like now I am sharing it in the chat box. This is the code. I can also share it in your WhatsApp group, right? So you please take a note of that code, and once you have that code with you, now this is what you will be asking your students to do to make them join the class. So OTT. So I'm just sharing the code here. So Now what you have to do, now you go to your Google class. Here you will be getting into this screen, right, through your Google Mail or whatever app. Now click on this and say join the class. And once you get this, here you have to give the class code, paste, then press on join. If you do this, you become a student in that class. So now kindly do this. You pick up your go to open your landing page of the Google Classroom, then press on that plus sign, then come out with join the class, then enter the code. So there are 14 people who have joined so far from among those who are currently engaged with me in this particular 18 students. Okay. So this is one way you can make students join the class. And I know some students will be always not traceable. I shouldn't use the word traceable. Now it has a different meaning. So some students don't come in contact with you. And what we can do, if they are not joining by the code that you have given them, so you have your the last resort. What you can do, you can go to a place where you have all their mail IDs like this. So I have their mail IDs. You can copy all the mails. Copy. Simply go here. Press on this invite students. Simply click paste. Then I am adding my one more mail ID so that I also will play the role of both a student as well as. So what happened? Click on this, paste all the mail IDs, add recipients. It has taken mail IDs, but this invite link is not activated. Murugan, any issue on the number of students that I can add?
Sir, your students are once.
Pardon?
Your mail ID you remove for once.
I'm not getting you, please.
Your mail ID you remove for once.
Yeah. Murugan, any restriction on the number of students that we can add?
Sir, per day we can send up to 60 invitations through email.
Okay.
But using code, up to 249 students can be accommodated, sir. There is no restriction in terms of enrolling the students through code.
Okay. So now this is a point that we should flag. Invitation is limited to 60.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Sir,
now
and one more thing, other domain email IDs will not work here. You please add me as co-teacher, sir, so that tomorrow I can use the same.
Sure.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So now I think I can't invite all of you because of the number restriction. Only thing is, you all should now exercise that option of joining it through the code. As Murugan is saying that it will accept up to 249, I think it should be fine. We are about 200 and odd in number. But I'll add my own mail ID so that I'll play both the roles. Yeah, this I will do. And I'll just show you, if you are inviting this way, what is happening. So if you are inviting through a mail, what happens? This fellow will get a mail. See here. Yeah. So this is my other mail ID where I added myself. So what has happened? I got a mail here. Who is that here?
There's a lot of disturbance.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who is that, and yeah, now they got themselves subsided. Okay. Yeah, now here you get a mail like this. If your mail ID is added in the invitation box, you get a mail like this. You click on this mail, then it's automatic join. So once you join, you will be actually landing in the class. Join the class. Yeah. Now I have become my other mail ID, reddyairal@gmail.com. So then I have become a member here in the people. I think I would have been added here, right? So now there are 55 students. So now this window I will use to demonstrate, how the student will be receiving the information. But this is a student window. When you see here, this window is stream class or people. This is student window, but actually teacher window is here. This is the teacher window.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, just once, would you explain that teacher window and that student one, that one?
No. I've been more ambitious in showing you if somebody has been added into the classroom, how he will be having his window. That means you are now part of the class.
Okay, sir. No, I'm not part of the class. At this moment, I did not join.
Yeah, you can join. See, if I have joined here, I have joined as a different user in the class. This is my student window. I mean, here I am a student here. This mail ID is a student. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Whereas I am running the class from here. This is my class window, teacher window. And then there are two ways of inviting students. I've demonstrated both of them. One is share the code with them. They'll go press on that plus sign, enter the code, they become part of the class. I want all of you to join, because now we have a series of things that will go in the next 40 minutes. You'll have to submit assignments, you have to fill quizzes, and you should respond. So others, 117 members are there, only 55 are joined. So I request others to join in the meantime. So now the second thing is I can also add a teacher. See, I can also add a teacher. So I am adding Dr. Murugan and Professor Rajashekar. So I have sent them an invite. Right. So here it shows these two have been invited. Once they accept this invitation and once they join as teachers, then this will be activated. I mean, it will be coming like this. It will be in bold like this. So far they have been only invited. So now what is the advantage of this? Now all the rights that I have as a teacher, they also will have. This is actually useful in collaborative teaching. For example, if the same course is taught by more than one faculty, then you need not create 2-3 classrooms. You can have one classroom where the 2-3 people who are teaching jointly that particular course can join as the teachers. So they can handle all the things that I am able to handle from my account. They'll be able to handle from their own account. So this is how you actually set your students in the class. Once you set your students in the class, then we'll go to classwork. So in the classwork, what you can actually do is you can create all these things in the classwork. One is you can create some material for the people to actually watch, and you can start a discussion by asking them a question, or simply you can ask them a question so that they will send a response. You can give them an assignment and evaluate. You can give them a quiz and again evaluate, and things like that. And you can also organize your material that you are creating in this class by using topics. So for example, if you use, first let me create a topic, 1 or 2 topics. So my topic is, let us say, because this is a 10-day series, let us say I'll create it as day 1. So day 1 is setting your PC. Add. Then I can create another topic, maybe day 2, right? So day 2, what did we do on day 2? Okay, Google Tools. Day 2 is Google Tools. Then day 3 is Google Site. Or let us say today day 7. Day 7 is Classroom.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
1 second. So, how to join using a code?
How to
As a
join
student.
using a code? Okay. Now what you do, first thing is you should have saved your code. Where is your code? First thing is this. This code you should save and share it with people by mail or WhatsApp or text or whatever. Then once they get into their Gmail, let them log in into their Gmail and type Google Classroom. Google Classroom. Once they type Google Classroom, from this search page, they land in the Google Classroom page, and they will see this plus sign here. So the student should click on this plus sign, and then it has 2 options: join the class and create the class. And because they are joining your class, they should press on join class, and they should enter this code, the code that you have given them, and simply say join. Simply say join. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So it's not allowing me to join because I am the one who has created the class. Okay. Now coming to the classwork. So what you can actually do, you can actually create topics. Day 1, day 2, day 3, like this. Let's say if you have 5 units, you can create 5 units. Or if you are teaching it over 20 sessions, you can say session 1, session 2, session 3. It is only for easy organizing of the material within the class. Now let us say I'll go to day 7 class, and let us say here I can rename it if I just made some spell spell mistake, etc. Or you can delete this, or you can move it down and move it up. Okay, this order can be changed. And now I want to post some material in day 7 class, and to post some material in day 7 class. So go to create and say take material. So material here is how to set up a Google Classroom. So here I can give some more description I want, right? Then I can add a file from my Google Drive. So if I click this Google Drive, then it will take me to my Google Drive. So if I have already created a file which is discussing about how to create a Google Classroom, I can actually pick up that file from there. So for example, I'm picking this file, say insert, right? Of course, this is not relevant for what I've written here. So, but then you can pick up any file. You can pick up a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, Google PPT, anything you can pick up from your Google Drive and insert here. And similarly, you can add a link. For example, you have how to create a Google Classroom. So let us say you have found this a particular material to be useful for this topic. So you simply take this URL, copy, come to your class, to add a link. Add link. So then the students can go through this file that you have set up. They can actually click on this link. So if you want to give web links, you can give web links. Then similarly, from your YouTube, you can actually pick up a video if you think that video is useful for them. So go to your YouTube channel, right? Then go to your videos. Then you pick up a small file like this. So let us say now I am so here, come to the classroom, add an YouTube video, right? Search and add this. This added, and you can also add a file from your personal computer. So here it is from the Google Drive. It is file from your personal computer. So here you can go actually, if you are uploading it, you can upload it here, right? You can browse. And you can go to desktop. Let us say I have something called day 1 PPT. I'll add this. Add this. Right. See now, how many ways you can share, the material. You can share by inserting a Google Doc from your Google Drive. You can share a web link. You can share YouTube video, and you can share a file, whether PPT or PDF file or whatever, from your computer. Now come here, go to this topic. Now you can here select the topic. So now how to set up a Google Classroom is day 7. So I'll pick up this and say post. And say post. So if you post it this way, now here is something called stream. So this is something like your Facebook kind of interface, where anything that is updated in this particular classroom, either by way of posting of the material by the teacher, or posting of assignment by the teacher, or posting of comments by the fellow classmates, all this will come and chronologically sit here in this space. So this is your, now I have posted this has come up, right? So this could become a clutter, especially if you have naughty students, where you might lose track of what is actually getting posted by the teacher. So for that only you have this classwork. So in this classwork, it's only the teacher, and it is organized, whatever class wise or day wise. So if you really don't want to miss the important things, always go to the classroom and see whether there is any updating of the files, etc. And then probably after a while, I think even people can comment on this. But let us go to, once I have created this material for the students in the classroom, let me see, or let me show you how it looked for a class student. So now I have gone to my the other role as the student. Now the first thing is, whenever a teacher posts some material in the Google Classroom, the student will get an alert by way of email. There is new material, how to set up a Google Classroom. So this alert is received by the student. So from his mail itself, he can open this. He can open this material. So that is one way. Otherwise, if the student is already there in the classroom, now he can go to his either stream. He can go to his stream and see. Here he has got already, there is one comment by somebody, right, on this material. So one comment, thanks for the material, right? Then go to the classwork. You go to the classwork, right? So here it says track your progress. See a list of your work and its current status. Okay, by view your work. I got it. So they've added, if you have especially assignments, etc., that are posted by the teacher in the class, maybe you can actually come and see this. We'll come to that later once we post some assignment. So you go to the classroom. In day 7 classroom, you see there was a material posted, and once you open that, all of them will be appearing to you. There is a Google Drive doc that is posted. There is a URL that is posted, and there is a file that has been uploaded here. That's a file, and this is a YouTube channel. So by simply clicking on this, you can actually watch that YouTube video, or you can open this PPT, and this you can see this. And if you want to download this material, then you have to go here. So there is the automatic download of this file is not available in Google. What you have to open it in a new window. Once you open it in a new window, the download option will come to you here. Here, if you press this, this file gets downloaded to your personal computer. So you can actually download these files and keep a record of these things. But actually, it is not necessary. Today we live in a highly interconnected world, so it's not necessary. But if you want to download the files that have been uploaded here, you can do so. So this is how it will appear for a student when a teacher is posting some material in the classroom. Now let us go back to the role of me as a teacher. So now here I am as a teacher. Now what I did in create, I have used one option called material. So then I can also use another option called question, where let us say during the discussion or immediately after the class, you can give them a small question and ask them to answer. So is the topic interesting? So is the topic interesting? Okay, so this is my question. And again, I'm giving it to everybody, right? Then I ask. So now each one of you who are students in this classroom would have got this both on your mail as well as in your stream as well as in your classwork. So here, maybe I'll refresh it. Okay, so here you see in the stream, go to classwork. Here you see, is the topic interesting? Now this has come up somewhere here, not under day 7 classroom, because when I posted this question, I have not chosen the topic for it. So for example, let me go here. Here it is. I can actually edit this, and now let me put it under this day 7 classroom, and also give it a due date. So now I want this question to be answered by today itself, and then save. Now the moment I make these 2 corrections, what happens for the student? Actually, it should now appear as part of day 7 classroom. Here it has come. So this is what is the work. And if you click on this view work, now you see when I have posted material, that is not something that you'll have to respond to. But all the tasks that are posted as questions or assignments or quizzes where you have to respond to, the Google will keep a track of that under view my work. This is the topic interesting? This is what the student has to answer. You can click on this question. You can say, yes, it is interesting, or not, it is interesting. So you have to give your answer. Here you have to give your answer. Yes. And once it is yes, you can turn in. Turn in means you submit this answer. Or if you want to pass any private comments, you can do so here. So turn in. So submit your answer, turn in. Right. So once it is turned in, it becomes, there are 17 comments also that have been received. So this has come up here. Now let me see how this would have come up as a teacher. So now how many people have actually submitted this? I can actually go to marks here. See, go to marks here. So once I go to marks, it shows that today I have created a question. Is the topic interesting? So it is out of 100 points that I have chosen there. Maybe here I can actually give them the marks for all those who have submitted. See, for example, I'll give marks to myself. So because I said yes, let me give 90 marks. So once I'm giving myself 90 marks, actually, what is the answer? You could actually go here and see. If you click on this, this is the teacher's view. The teacher is looking at what Lokanand Reddy has submitted. So you can see here, is the topic interesting? Because I have typed only one word is appearing here. Yes, otherwise the whole paragraph can be typed. That is also seen here. Once you have seen the answer, then you can actually give the marks. So we have allotted marks here. So yeah, here, so we have allotted the marks. Then here you can return the marks. Return the marks means so far only this is in my record. That means I have allotted him 90 marks, it is fine. So if I say return the marks, then what happens? This fellow will get a message, an email message that he got 90 out of his 100 marks for that question. And here I can also give some comments, some feedback. Okay, good work, and say return. So once I do this, actually what happens? As an user, I would be getting an email, right? So here it is graded. Is the topic interesting? That has been graded. So I have received my grade. What is the grade I have received? If I click on this and see, now I have received 90 out of 100 as an user. So I have received 90 out of 100. So similarly, here you have the other types. You can create an assignment. So again, the dialog box is similar. You can give the title. I'll not be getting into the details here because Dr. Murugan will be covering it tomorrow. How to use Google Classroom to evaluate, the performance of the students. But I'm just taking you through that how just to post an assignment. So again, it is the same thing. You have the same options here. You can give a description of the assignment. Otherwise, if you have had a Word file which is describing what is the assignment, or if you have an YouTube video, or you can give an assignment asking them kindly go through the attached video and answer the following questions, or evaluate the content in the video, or you can attach a case here in the form of a file and ask them to analyze the case and submit the solution. So again, the same things are available here. You have the due date, and here again you can put it in the which day topic it should go. And here there is something called rubric. The rubric is how you tell your students like how your assignment will be evaluated. So this will be covered by Dr. Murugan tomorrow. Rubric he will be covering. And then here you want to make it 100 points, or you can make it unmarked, or you can make it 50 points, or you can make it 60 points. So all this is in your hands. And again, you can fix a due date. Let us say keep tomorrow 13th August as the due date, and assign. So once you say assign, again it will go there as an assignment. So for a viewer, how it looks like. Again, now here you can go to the classwork, and now to be specific about what are the things that he has to return, he can look at this particular link, view your work. So here there is assignment 1. You have not, this gives a summary of all the assignments that have been posted in the class and how we have answered, which is the due date. Now see, assignment 1 due date is August 13. It is assigned. That means you have not submitted this yet. and this question you have already answered, which is evaluated, and it is returned to you. You got 90 out of 100 here, right? This is how the students page will look like, right? So here he is also having a menu. How many of them have been assigned, and how many of them have been returned to him? So this will say one has been returned. So is he missing any assignments? That means the due date is over, but he could not complete it. So in such cases, it will appear here. So for the student also, it is completely user friendly. And coming back to once again the classwork. So you can also create a quiz assignment. So in a quiz assignment, generally what happens, it will create a Google form, right? It is a blank quiz that is being created. The moment you have taken a quiz assignment there, I will spend some time here because it is something related to Google form. Little bit we'll get into it depending on the time. If we can't cover fully, maybe Murugan will also throw some light on that tomorrow. So now let us say quiz 1. Now the moment you said quiz 1, it has created a Google form automatically by itself, and it has named it as blank quiz. Let me open this. So once I open this, let me rename this OTT FDP quiz 1. Now the only difference is this is just like a Google form, except that if you go and see in the settings and go to this quizzes, this is checked here. That means this is a quiz. If it is like this, the Google form will act as a quiz. If it is unchecked, then it is just a Google form. It will only collect data. So when you make this a quiz, right, these options are actually activated. Now here what is happening, you can release the marks immediately after each submission. That means after students have submitted the marks, submitted the quiz, immediately it will ask whether they want to see the marks. They can see it. Otherwise, if I select this, what happens, the students will be able to submit the assignment. They can see the missing questions, answers, point values. Point values means how many marks is there for each question, but they will not know their total score. So you keep them guessing. Maybe later on you can release that. So now let us play with both the options, and within these also you can uncheck some of them. I mean, students should not see missing questions. You can uncheck it. You don't want them to see the correct answers. You can uncheck it. So, but there is no reason why we should.
Sir, can we randomize the questions, and there will be start time and end time for the questions?
Yes, that can also be put. Okay, that is here in the presentation. Here you can have shuffle question order. If you check this shuffle question order, what happens? There will be the questions will appear in a different sequence for every user. So the same number of questions will be there, but the first question will appear as second question, something like that. Okay, it will shuffle the question order. Here you can check that. Now let me save. Just give a couple of questions. Let us say the first question is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4.
So what about timer, sir? Timer
We'll come to that, madam. We'll come to that. Let me just finish this. We'll come to the timer. Now, is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, right? So is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Then you have actually you can give them multiple choice. Yes, and then no, or true or false. So after this, you can actually give what is the right answer. Go to the answer key here. Is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4? You say yes. Done. Now they'll not be able to see the answer, but because you have activated, they should see their score soon after they submit. This will automatically evaluate and give them a score. And let us put one more question. Is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5? Like I told you on how to set up the Google form day before yesterday, all that will appear here. That means you can import questions from another quiz that you would have already done. right? All that will apply. Again, you can insert images in the answers, or you can insert images in the question. All that will apply. So, but today's focus is not just to teach you how to do the Google form. So Google quiz is nothing but the Google form with mark this as quiz activated. That's the only thing. And
Sir, how it can be done, sir? Mark it as quiz.
Here, go to settings, go to
Yeah.
quizzes. Here, this should be on. If this is on,
Yeah.
it will act as quiz.
Okay.
If this is off, it is just a form.
Sir, here required field also we have to make that, sir, in form required.
Here itself you can
Yeah.
make. If it is a required
Yeah.
question, you make it
Yeah.
required. Here
So,
also, if it
yeah.
is a required question, you make it required.
So there
Now-
is a we will give choice for student to choose or not, answer or not.
No, if you make it required, he has to give some
He
answer.
has
That's
to, he has to,
yes,
he has
yes.
to,
Otherwise,
yeah.
it will not accept the
Yes, sir.
submission.
Okay, sir.
Right. So now is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. That's the question. Let us say this time, go to the answer key. I say the answer is no. Just like that. Let us say I did this. Then you can, at the answer key also, you should not forget to mention this carries 1 point. That means the right answer, carries 1 mark. Here also, you go to answer key. Again, you say the right answer carries 1 mark. Okay. Let us say this is how you have set up your quiz. Then let us say this quiz is on. So somebody is filling this quiz. So here he would give his mail ID. Is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Now you see the question order has been shuffled. The question order has been shuffled. Actually, our first question was this. Is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. That was the first question. But that has appeared as second question. Okay. Is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5? Yes. And is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4? Yes. And then he has submitted. Right? Your response has been recorded. Submit another response. Just let me. What are the options we have given? No. So here you see, we have taken this as later after the manual review. That is the reason why it is not showing him whether what is the score. For example, if we have activated this and save, now what this fellow can do? So he can again fill it. Let us say, then yes, and then say yes, then submit. Now it will ask, your response has been recorded, view your score. So is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5? Actually, it is equal to 5, but I have wrongly marked, no as the correct answer. Right? So now it is not giving him any mark. Is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4? It is yes, he is giving 1 mark. So you got 1 out of 2 marks. Now, this kind of issues cannot be corrected in the sense that that will be exposed if you allow people to see the score upon submission. So that's why so if you are very much confident that all your questions and answers are right, then you can actually use this option called immediately after each submission, let students get the marks released. Otherwise, if I had selected this later, then now what happens? Now let me go to the quiz again. Now let me submit another response. And this is yes, and this is also yes, and let me submit. Now for him, the marks are not released immediately. For him, the marks are not released immediately. So what I can actually do, I can evaluate the paper, and even I might get a kind of a feedback. Some question is wrong, something like that. All these reviews are possible. So you can actually look at all those reviews, and then later on you can release the marks. Later on you can correct. So how do you correct? It's very, very simple. You go to the blank quiz again. You now know that for this the right answer is yes, but you wrongly marked it as no. So then what you do? You go here, change this to yes. This remove. Done. Now what happens? Even for those quizzes that have already been submitted, where Google would have evaluated them as 0 mark, now it will automatically update all of them as 1 mark. So it will automatically update the marks. So for this fellow, now we would be actually getting 2 out of 2 marks. So this is one advantage you have if you don't want to release the mark immediately upon submission. Otherwise, if you are confident that you have come out with all the right answers, then you need not do this, right? So now everybody would have received this quiz in their both in their mail. So this is one advantage of Google Classroom. Every time you create something, it gives them a mail notification. So there is a new assignment called Quiz 1. It has come up there. Now let him open the quiz. So simply from his inbox, he can open the quiz. Right here. Now we can start filling it. So now if he fills it, let us say yes and yes. Now what is happening? An email ID is necessary. Submit. Then it is not giving him the marks as usual. Now let me go back and change, immediately release the mark in my quiz setup. There is my quiz here.
Sorry, hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, is it possible to submit second time?
Yes, it is possible. There is a way you should restrict it. I'll tell you. Now what happens?
Okay.
Now let me go to this edit page of the quiz. Then now go to settings. Now here quizzes. Here I'll say immediately after each submission. Now if I save this, what happens? The fellow will get that marks immediately. And also, like, you should not allow people to actually submit the quiz twice. Now go to the settings again. Come here. Here, limit to 1 response. You click on this. Limit to 1 response. So that means what? From one single mail ID, you can submit only once. So you cannot submit it twice. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
This will restrict him from submitting it twice. So this is how you can actually, in your Google Classroom, you can create the assignments, quiz assignments. You can create the questions. You can create the material. And if you want to reuse a post, that means you have already posted some material somewhere. You want to reuse it. You can actually click on this. It will tell you how yeah, there's so many people submitting their responses. Very good. Yeah. So here it's taking some time. So here it will display all the posts that are there as part of the classroom. If you want to reuse one of those posts, maybe from here you can pick up and post it again. Okay, I think it's taking time.
So where do we save all the work before we go live or send it to the students?
Yeah. Now what happens? Each class will create a folder for itself in the Google Drive. You see here the class drive folder. You click on this. You click on this. Now what happens in your Google Drive, right? A folder is created for this classroom. This is OTT FDP. So any material that you post, any quiz that you create, all that will come and sit here. Or you can have all the files here. From here you can link. From here you can link.
So please repeat.
No. You go to, one thing is, the moment you create a classroom, it will create a folder for itself in the Google Drive. This OTT automatically. So where do you find that? You go to Google Drive. Where is my folder? One is from the classroom. You can go there. See, from the classroom, this is the class drive folder. You click on this. It will take you to the location where it is sitting in your Google Drive. Otherwise, what you can simply open your drive and simply type classroom. So So classroom. So this folder, classroom of Dr. Rokanand Reddy, you click on this. See, these are all my different classes that I created in Google Classroom and I taught. So each time I create a Google class, a folder is created in this particular Google Drive. So what I'll do, I will actually keep all my files in this particular folders, and then I share them whenever I want to share them. So here you see these are all different files that I have first created in this folder, and when I taught 2017 business analytics class, so these have been shared in their particular classroom. So now the one thing is, instead of uploading files every time, what you can do, you can store these files in the Google Drive and just share it in the classroom. Remember, whatever you are doing with your Google, your Gmail, your Drive, your classroom, your YouTube, all this will count towards your size restriction. So Google allows only 15 MB, all these things put together. That means your Google Drive, your Google Classrooms, your Google videos, all this put together is 15 MB, right? But of course, now I have a premium account where I have up to 100 GB. Sorry, 15 GB. Now I have 100 GB in my Google, all put together. It is 21.3 GB I have used, not just in Drive. It is including my YouTube videos, including my Google Classroom material, etc. So to optimize this, don't always have two files, one in Drive, one in Classroom, etc. It's very, very simple. You always keep all your material in your Drive and simply share that wherever you want. To take it to Classroom, you take it to wherever you want, right? So this is how you can create a folder, and these are all several folders that I have in my class. Each folder represents one class, right? So my material is with me. Wherever I go, my material is with me. I normally teach only starting with the Google Classroom, so I need not carry any material. I can just go plug and play. Just go, and remember, teaching through Google Classroom doesn't even require that particular system should be, what kind of software you need, all that. So you can directly take files from your Google Drive and teach. Okay.
Sir, for you, how it is possible for 100 GB instead of 15?
Yeah, you have to pay. You have to pay. I think it's not much. You have to pay some 2,000, 3,000. You can pay. You can upgrade to 100 GB.
Okay.
So just I think Gmail upgrade.
Sir, excuse me, this 2,000, 3,000 is for a year, or how much, sir? It is for 100 MB
it's per year. It's per year.
For a year.
No. To start with, what you do, you don't require that kind of space. Even if you require, what you can do, experiment with 2 Gmail accounts. One Gmail account, you keep it for few classes. Another Gmail account to keep it for few more classes. So you can go up to a stage where you become really big, and then you really need this, you buy it.
All right.
Okay. So otherwise, no need of buying. Don't waste money.
Sir, what is the restriction for Gmail account, sir? One can have 2, 3. How many, sir?
I think so many. I really don't know how many I have. I forgot also some Gmail accounts. So it's.
Right,
I think too many you can have. So far, I haven't seen any restriction as such. So I think I'll stop here. We can go on and on and on and on. I think Murugan will cover any few things that you raise now. He will note it down. Murugan, kindly note it down, 1 or 2 things.
The timing of the quizzes,
sure.
Yeah,
Sir,
Murugan will come back to you tomorrow.
how many?
Yeah.
One thing.
One by one.
Will you share today's class?
Sir, your voice is not at all reaching me.
Sir, about the timing of the quiz.
Yeah.
We want to time
Madam, that
the
will be
quiz
covered tomorrow. He will be taking up that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Tomorrow
Sir,
he will show you.
Sir,
I have a question.
tried joining.
I have a question, sir.
Hello?
Sir, will you share
Yes,
today's
madam.
class, sir?
Each one of
was
you
quite
have to
connectivity issues.
Yeah, that we cannot help, sir. We live in a much better condition, I think, in India. We complain about things, but then we are much better compared to so many other countries. That is a national issue. We should take it up with Narendra Modi. Network is
Sir,
definitely an issue, sir. That there are a lot of debate going on there. Lakshmi madam, can you be a little clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How many students can enter in the classroom, sir? How many students?
Like Murugan has helped us. He is our thesaurus. Dr. Murugan is our dictionary. He was telling me that 249 through Google invite.
Okay, right.
Sorry, through Google code, 249 can join. But if you are inviting per day, you can invite 60, I think.
Okay.
Sir, per day through invitation 60, but the code there is no limit, sir. Up to 250 can join. And per day we can create only 60 courses.
Thank you. 60 courses?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean 60 classes.
60 classes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, I have
So there is no limit
a
to 50
question.
can join. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. How
One
to
of you,
make
Shipra
Google
madam.
form? Yeah.
Shipra madam, please proceed.
How to make? Yeah. How to make Google form bilingual, English and Hindi both? If I want to do that, what is the option, sir, for typing Hindi?
I'm not sure, madam. Murugan, you have an idea? Bilingual?
Sir, I think Hindi text can be copy pasted in the Google form, but the entire form may not be automatically translated to Google, sir. Probably there could be an add-on program. I don't know.
You check, madam. You check with.
So actually, I created, sir, but I typed it other way and just pasted it there. So I just wanted if I can switch over and type. That is what I wanted to. Okay,
I don't think so, ma'am. I don't think so.
Auto translate is not available. Each question individually you have to type, I think.
Yeah, that is what I did. And I do that. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
So where do I get shuffle option and then timer, sir?
Madam, madam.
Shuffle option and then timer I am unable to get.
Tomorrow it will be covered once again, madam. Tomorrow Dr. Murugan will cover it. Okay?
Sir, is it possible to restrict the access to the students after some time?
Yes, we can do that. Tomorrow it will be covered. Tomorrow also it is evaluation using Google Classroom. So Dr. Murugan will cover that.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, create a recorded video, sir. What we have to do? We have to send to your mail ID.
No, that you can upload using that Google form, no?
There is a problem, sir.
Yeah, you can send it to my mail ID. Otherwise, I'll store it in a place and I'll share that folder with you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, is it mandatory that students all should have the Gmail account only? Then only they can enter the classroom?
Yes, madam. At least Google wants to ensure that much, madam.
Okay.
That they don't want to service. It's already a free service. So, if you want to be a student in a Google Classroom, you should have a Gmail account.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. I have.
Sir, if someone has created, if someone has created a class and then inviting another teacher to join the class, all the messages will be in this first person's Google Drive. It will not
You can share the Google Drive with him also. You can make like we have already seen, right? Google Drive can be any folder in Google Drive can be shared with anybody.
So this course folder will be shared, and then that person can
yes, he can access that if it is shared with him.
Access and download into his machine and
yes, very much. Once you are made a collaborator, you can do anything you want. You can delete the folder also.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Vanita, madam. Vanita Soni.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
When using Google Form as a quiz, can we link the responses of other Google Form to the existing form with the same number of responses and the same candidate? I mean, from the same candidate. Like in case if So like in case if there is any confusion in the question asked and we have asked them again another new question and they have answered it. So can we add this answer with the existing Google form?
No, if you give them resubmit options, they can do. I mean, if you give them resubmit option, only his record will be updated. But I told you, no, giving them a resubmit option is not that. I mean, they'll have to first what you call resubmit link. They'll actually press and they should save that. Like you are all doing now. What you are actually doing is you are editing your responses after you have submitted. That everyday output that you are submitting. No.
Yes, sir.
So now what you can do actually, if there is a question, it will not be with one person, right? So you do an additional form and let everybody submit it again.
Yes, sir. But can I merge this form with the existing form?
Yeah, there are some ways of doing it because for both the forms, because it is a single mail ID, you should ensure this. So both the forms should have been submitted from a single mail ID. If that can be ensured, you can merge two Excel sheets into one. Only thing is, the mail ID should be same.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, suppose, yes, sir. Suppose if we are using the Google Classroom for first year and subsequently the next year we want to use the same Google Classroom for the next set of students, like how to unenroll the students and again make them to rejoin, sir, in the same classroom.
I think there is an option where you can remove. That is one option is there. You can remove students.
Sir, can you show, sir, how to do that?
So here to go to people.
Okay, sir.
Here you see the Afreen Ali.
Okay.
Oh, you can select here.
Okay, sir.
Here, remove.
Okay, okay, sir.
So you can remove all of them. Then you can the same code you can use and let others join. But what ideally is important is that you continue with them so that there will be discussion among the senior junior students, and if there is a doubt posed by the junior students and if it were to be answered by senior student, it happens.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So any other questions?
Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Please add today's
Yes, sir. So I tried to join this Google Classroom from my G Suite account, but I could not join. So I tried with my personal Gmail account.
No, it should not be a problem. You can join from any account because there are so many who are having G Suite accounts in this group and they have joined. Maybe check it once again. Maybe code is wrong, something like that, or we'll have to type it in Google search and find out.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So can you please add day 7 in the outcome?
Yes, I will be doing it, madam. I'll be doing it just now. In day 7 outcome, what you have to do is you have to submit your URL of the Google Classroom that you have created. Okay. So soon after I close this meeting, I'll be updating that form, madam.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Among classmates, you can talk, sir. You can share information.
Pardon, Nagaraj garu, please, sir.
Among classmates, sir, you can share information.
Yeah. The classmates can interact themselves. Like I told you, it works like a Facebook series. I mean, they can give comments on the assignments posted. They can have a discussion. Right?
No, I can talk with my classmates. I can share the information with other classmates.
No. Unless he is also a part of this class, you can share this. Of course, there are certain files you can download and mail him separately.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, in the past few months, we have attended so many kinds of talks like these, sir. But this one is exemplary, sir. The way y'all are really giving us in-depth information of how to go about it. Thank you very much, sir, for all the hard work y'all are putting in.
Thank you, madam. Even we are learning many things from you. We should also be thankful to you. So this is part of teacher's job. So we are doing what we knew, because being a public university, we have the responsibility of disseminating knowledge. So we can't just keep knowledge only to ourselves. Now we have seen that the knowledge is very much required, so we planned it. Thank you so much. You are so generous. We are just doing our job.
Agree with ma'am, sir. You're doing a great job. I have a question, sir. When I'm part of a classroom, my name is not shown, and it's only the classmates' names will be shown. The student's name will not be shown in that list. Is it?
Yes, no, because you are already there. Only because you are a student, you are able to see other names.
Okay. Only other names will be seen. Your name will not be visible.
Yeah. You can't interact with yourself there, no.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So I think today we have just closed it on time, and also we had a good discussion. I think if we have no further questions, we'll close it here. The outcome for the day that you should come out with is just go and create a classroom and share that URL through that form that you are submitting as usual every day. And this discussion will be taken forward tomorrow, a little more deeper. Today I just tried to give all the the background setting of tomorrow you are comfortable with your Google Classroom. Little more deep into this as to the quizzes and how to conduct the online evaluation using Google Classroom. What are the other tools available? Rubrics, etc. will be covered by Dr. Murugan. Okay. So thank you all. I'm signing off. Catch you up tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.